Hey folks, how you doing? We're going to do another video on the motorcycle. We're going to show you how to ride a motorcycle on the freeway, and we'll talk about different reasons why I think you, yes you, should get a motorcycle. I think everyone should have one if they're able to ride it. And the motorcycle of choice today is the Suzuki SV1000, a great motorcycle to take on the freeway, which is we're going up here. We're going to go right, and we're going to enter the mean, unforgiving, evil freeways of California. Now, before we get on, let's go through a couple of little things for those of you that have not ridden a motorcycle. For the most part, on most motorcycles, the right side is braking. Front brake right here. Rear brake right here. You use your foot, obviously. Left side shifting. Clutch. You know how you put the clutch in on a car with your left foot and then you shift with your right hand? Here, what you're going to do is pull the clutch in with your left hand and shift with your left foot. Every time you click down, you're shifting downward. You can go all the way down to first gear. Every time you put your foot under the lever and kick up under this foot peg, you're going up. This bike has 6 gears, so you can really maximize fuel economy. You ready? Let us get on. Now, recently I was riding and something hit my front hand and kind of ruined the glove. So I have new gloves. We have the Pro Biker gloves on with the finger protectors. We're gonna put the kickstand up and we're going to get on the freeway. You ready? Now, it'll sort of unsteam, unfog as we go, but we're going to pull the clutch lever in. We're in neutral now. See the neutral light? We're going to kick down to first gear. The neutral light will go off, and then we're going to slowly give it some throttle while we release the clutch lever, and we'll get on the freeway. So you guys ready? Remember, clutch in, kick down in first gear. Watch the neutral light right here. We're in first. Notice as we let the clutch out slowly, when we put it back in, the motorcycle is moving forward. We're going to let it out slowly, the clutch, and give it some throttle. Clutch is completely out now. See? Let's not get hit by this lady, so I pull the clutch in, or this guy here, and giving a little throttle, pulling the clutch out all the way. We're going to go back out on the streets here. The freeway is right there, so we're going to hit some good speeds. Now more than ever, people are getting motorcycles because, especially out here in California where I'm at, the gas was like $4.50, $4.60, $4.70, $4.80, some places $5. All right, we got the green. Kick up, I'm in second. I'm going to go third gear. Clutch in, kick up, I'm in third gear, taking the corner. Let's give it some good throttle, shall we? Tucking down. Fourth gear. Fifth gear. I'm going to coast a bit. This guy's getting in front of me. We're going to go through like a little tunnel thing here to the left in about 1 minute. 6th gear. And so now I can chat with you guys. There's our shadow right there. I have carrying a backpack on. Alright. You know, a lot of people want to ride a motorcycle, but they just don't know how to get started. So I thought what we would do is talk to you about how to get started riding motorcycle. We'll chat about motorcycle stuff. And there's the guy in a cruiser motorcycle right here. Let's see if I can get you some good footage. Giving it more throttle. You know, hold on. My nose is. He's getting over here. He's got his signal on. In most states, if you take the written test with your pencil at your Department of Motor Vehicles, they'll let you ride with some restrictions, like you can't ride at night, you can't ride with passengers, you can't ride on freeways like I'm doing now because it's a lot more dangerous than streets. But that's how I learned. You know what happened with me is I started off, believe it or not, with like a scooter. I had a Honda Elite, I believe it was a 150 scooter, the type that kind of looks like Darth Vader-ish with the pop-up headlight. They're pretty cool. I had like a little stereo on it and stuff, which you couldn't hear when you're going like, you know, 65. You just can't hear it, so I don't know why I got the stereo on it. But I kind of learned on that a bit. Let's get over here, and by the way, not to digress, but I may be doing that a bit as we go. Notice I'm in the carpool only lane. In California, you're allowed to ride in this lane, also known as the HOV lane, high occupancy vehicles, if you're on a motorcycle, because they want you to conserve fuel. Or if you're on a hybrid, in a hybrid vehicle, you can ride here. Or if you're in a vehicle that has 2 or more passengers. So you notice there's not many people here in front of me, and especially in California where traffic is horrible in many places, this is yet another benefit, let's pass this white car here, of having a motorcycle. But back to what I was saying, if you take the written test with the pencil at your DMV, local DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles, they will give you a restricted motorcycle license where you can ride with limits, like I mentioned earlier in the video. So you can kind of learn as you learn in the parking lot and stuff like that on streets. And then what you do is you can go to MSF, Motorcycle Safety Foundation. You can pay a little small fee and you can go to their school where they teach you how to ride in like a parking lot if you choose to do that. And also you can get your full-fledged license by doing that without having to go to DMV and take their driving, or as we say, riding test, because the DMV one's more difficult. And let's talk to you a little bit about riding a motorcycle. We got a lot of bumps here. Notice when I go to the right, it gets smoother. When I go to this, see how it's not as bumpy, but over here on the left it's bumpy. You start to know all the areas. Let's talk to you about some other things that's great about motorcycle riding. We talked about the fuel saving. Can't beat it. The fuel savings is great. Your ride's not as boring if you have to ride, real far. Couple of things that I'll tell you about, just me personally, what's helped me enjoy motorcycle riding. I haven't crashed yet. I've been riding for years and years and years. But I mostly ride the freeway, and they say that your chances of crashing on the freeway are less than if you're riding on the streets. Howbeit, your chances of a fatality on the freeway are higher. So I've got all the protective gear on. I've got gloves, of course, full face helmet. I've got a jacket on with CE armor. I don't know if you can see the elbow, how it's kind of odd shaped because of the armor. Also, if you notice, it's mesh, M-E-S-H, like there's holes in it, and that helps me to cut through the wind a lot better. Look closely at the waffle-like design as I hold it up to the camera. I have a mirrored visor, as you saw, to help fight the blazing sun out here in California. And Hold on, I gotta itch my eyeball. And I also have these motorcycle pants on with armor in them. Frank Thomas. Very, very like strong, like plastic. And you'll be surprised how these, big bump here, watch. I memorized this freeway. You'll be surprised how these pants really help protect you. I'll give you an example. Really, really hot out here recently, and I go, you know what, I'm just going to wear Levi's and for the pants. I'm not going to put these protective pants over them. And I'm riding along, and all of a sudden I felt some of the most excruciating pain on my leg, below my knee, my shin. Pieces of metal, debris, steel from the tires will hit you. And it hurts when you're going 65 miles an hour and it's shooting out from the car in front of you. So you want to wear good protective gear. Other things too is, you know, when I first started riding, I was getting like headaches, you know, because it's so loud on the freeway. I know it doesn't seem loud to you because the camera is inside the helmet, like muffles it. But I would try to get helmets that were quiet, but most helmets, as you get up there in the speed, like freeways, and we're not going too fast right now because traffic here, but it gets really loud, and you can stand it for about a minute or two, but try like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 2 hours, and it could really ruin your hearing. I'd get home and I would still hear like this, like a whistling in my ear. So I got these little sponge earplugs that you can get at Walmart or hardware stores or wherever, pharmacies. And that really muffles the sound to where you still can hear. Let's get in the right lane over here. But it makes the ride so much more enjoyable. So you definitely want to do that. I mean, if I didn't have those earplugs, it's just a pain. Another thing, another reason why you should get a motorcycle is I've been riding for years and years and years, and I've never gotten tired of it. It's just a blast. The freedom of, you know, the open environment, not being in a cage, being able to tuck down, pull the throttle back, and as the machine propels you forward, it's nothing like it. Some people told me, oh, you're going to get tired of it. And when I first started riding with the loud noise, because I wasn't using the earplugs, and also sometimes we'll talk about wind problems you get with the strong winds and the cold, the heat. We'll talk about stuff like that too if I have time. I didn't like it at first. Those things bothered me. But as you learn to alleviate those problems, for example, I used to have a smaller windscreen here. It came down about kind of right here where my finger's at, you know. And then you can get these zero gravity windscreens. You notice the wind's not too bad, and if I tuck down, it goes completely over me. So I'm enveloped in this like bubble where the wind goes over me. So you can get stuff like the zero gravity windscreen. They're not that expensive, under $100. Real easy to put on. You just take these screws out in front, slip the new windscreen in, put the screws back in. In the cold, it doesn't get really cold out here in California, but it does rain and it gets colder. When it gets colder, I'll wear like these thermal long sleeve shirts underneath, or compression body armor type of shirts underneath, and it helps to the truck's getting in the way here. It helps to keep you cool when it's hot, and I got some where I can wear when it gets real hot, and it helps you to stay warm when it's cold. When it rains, what I do, and they say not to do this, but I do it anyways, I just put Rain-X on the shield, on my visor. It works fine. They tell you not to do that because it will make your visor age sooner, and it'll start to get discolored and stuff. But the visors, these little shields that go on your helmet, they're not that much, 15 bucks, 20 bucks. And I haven't had it, I mean, look, it's not that bad. It's still weird. What else can I tell you? The strong winds is the stuff that I hate the most. Oh, Lord, I hate it. Strong wind will come from your left, and sometimes it's so strong you're like, whoa, and you're like all the way over into the other lane. So what they tell you to do, I'm just throwing a bunch of advice at you here. What they tell you to do in the strong winds is just hold on to the handlebars lightly, so when the wind hits you, you don't move the handlebars, you know, left to right, where you start moving all around. That does help. I guess I'll wrap it up and talk to you about when you decide to get a motorcycle. If you're going to go on the freeways, my advice is get at least a 600 if you're going to be going over 10-15 miles on the freeway, like commuting. If you're going to go under 10 or 15 miles daily, or your commute to school or your job, whatever, then you can get anything. Get a Kawasaki Ninja 250. I love those motorcycles. I see them on the freeway time and time again. But if you're going to be going long distances, I always tell people get at least a 600, because that's not too much power where you'll get in trouble on the freeway, but it has enough power where, you know, it's enough power where you're not going to want for more. This is 1,000. This is a V-twin, so it's got really good power. Check this out. Look at this truck. I was just about to get to this lane here. Oh my gosh. Takes corners great. Let's take this corner here. I'm going to tuck down, lean to the right. Not too sharp of a corner. If you live in a very windy area, you know, get a bike. Look at the motorcycles that have a lot of meat on their bones, like a heavier bike. If you are looking for fuel economy and you both basically do street riding, then get a little light bike, like a little Honda Rebel 250 or a Ninja 250. That's what you do. You know, when I first started riding, I went from, here's the bikes I went from, okay? I went from this, well, scooter, Honda Elite 150. It was just street legal. You couldn't ride it on the freeway because you got to have at least a 250 here in California. Then I went to like a Ninja 250, which is freeway legal, but type of freeways I ride, it just didn't seem to make me feel comfortable enough. Didn't have enough power. The tires are very little too, and they would always kind of wiggle around in the grooves of the freeway here. So then what I did is I took a big leap. I went from the 250 to a ZX10, like a Ninja 1000. There's like a little smart car up there, I think. That yellow thing. And then from the ZX10, ZX 1000 Ninja, I went to what did I go through there? Oh, then I went through a 600, a Suzuki GSXR 600. And then I went to this bike. I think the one that I would like to get next, one of my goals, is like a R1 or a R6. I'll probably go with the R6 because you get better fuel economy, and that thing has a lot of power. Yamaha R6. But there's nothing like it, guys. You should get a motorcycle. I think everyone should. It's a blast. Trying to get over here in this lane. If you want to chat with other motorcycle riders, you can also go below this video. Go to shotgunout.net and go into our chat room. Stop by our website there. Good stuff. Oh, if you're going to get a motorcycle and you don't have a lot of money, like me, I'm not rich, you could get a used one. All my motorcycles have been used. Newer used. You can go to Craigslist and then click on the city that's closest to you. And then click on motorcycles, and you could even search by how much money you have. If you got motorcycle buddies, bring them there with you when you go shopping, looking at them. The good thing about going on Craigslist is, hold on, let me see if I get around this. Is if you buy the motorcycle like outright, your insurance is less. Because then you could get, basic insurance. You don't have to cover the motorcycle as far as theft or anything like that. You can just get the, the basic insurance that you need, really cheap. But if you buy it, if you finance it, I should say, I've seen payments for motorcycles, $300, $400 or more, and then the insurance, because you got to cover your motorcycle for the lender, it's extremely high. And then the last thing I'll tell you, because everyone asks me this, if you had to get a car or a motorcycle, you only can get one, what would you get? And I want to answer this because we get some students, and let's say they're going to college and it's their birthday, and their parents say, okay, you can get a car or a motorcycle, which one do you want? Well, I would get the car, because when it gets to be very rainy and windy and cold, there's nothing like a nice warm car. Even though I ride the motorcycle more than I use my car, but I can't do without my car. So what I would do is maybe just get the car, and then motorcycles are cheap, get a used motorcycle. You could have the best of both worlds. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you watching this video. If you want to see a kind of a funny video where I'm at a traffic light and I ask a police officer to race me, do a search for this video, okay? Here's the name of it. Motorcycle rider asks cop to race him. Do a search on YouTube Motorcycle rider asks cop to race him. Check that one out, and thanks for watching. I hope to see you riding a motorcycle one day. It's great, a lot of fun.